Welcome back to the Grateful Living podcast. Today, I'm so excited because I have a very special guest with me, Aarti, who's going to share her journey about healing, spirituality, self-discovery. And I'd love by starting this conversation by anchoring in some gratitude. So, Aarti, if you could just share three things that you're grateful for in this moment, that would be amazing.
Okay, I'm really grateful to have met you as a friend and someone who aligns with how I feel about spirituality and learning about all those things. I'm really grateful for So if you guys don't know what that is, that's like one of Talisha's really cool sprays. So I'm really grateful for this. And I'm really grateful for a new book that I'm reading at the moment called Angels at My Fingertips. So it was this
Wow.
lady that was constantly seeing angels throughout her lifetime, and she just talks about like that, and she's written it really beautifully. So I'd say those are the three things I'm grateful for.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And if you could now tell us a little bit about more about you, what it is that you're currently doing, and what kind of led you here.
Yeah, sure. So at the moment, in terms of the spirituality side of things, I've really fallen into tarot. And the tarot that I'm doing specifically is more angel tarot as well as of Angel Oracle as well.
Mhm.
So I fell into that when a lady called Shafali from India reached out to me on LinkedIn, and she said that I'm looking for business women that want to connect more with their spiritual side. Is this something you'd be interested in? And I thought it definitely is at that point in time, and I'm really happy that I fell into it. And since then, tarot's just really resonated with me, and I've been sharing it on TikTok and other places as well. And it's really nice to help people to learn about these new like these how do you say it? Things that are not quite easily taught or understood, helping people to like expand
Mhm.
their mindsets into it. So yeah.
I love that. Okay. And so, like, I love asking everyone about their healing journey or their journey of self-discovery. And I know everyone's path looks so different. So, were there ever any parts of yourself that you feel like you had to meet with love or transform along the way to becoming a businesswoman? Because what you do is actually amazing. Maybe you can tell the viewers a little bit about, or listeners, a little bit more about what it is
Yeah.
you do. Yeah.
Yeah, so outside of everything spiritual, I mean, I wouldn't say really outside, but more professionally, what I do is I have a property auction house business. So I'm based in Leicester, and I help people in Leicestershire and the East Midlands sell their property, whether it be residential, commercial, or land, really fast through a online auction system. Auctions happen every single month, and it's all about changing the way property is in the UK, with legally binding contracts and competitive bidding so that the seller gets the best amount for their property.
Amazing. And how did you get there? Because I know your story. I know that you weren't doing that before, but I'd love for you to share a little bit more about it. Just because I feel like everyone thinks that life is very straightforward, but
Hmm.
sometimes the path to our purpose doesn't look how we think it's going to look, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's right. So how did I end up there? Well, I was working in a really, how do you say, like fancy corporate job in London, and I just wasn't fulfilled or happy, or I didn't feel aligned. I feel it was draining me. There's something called like personality suppression. I was suppressing my personality all the time, and then I was quite lucky that I was put on furlough. And when I was on furlough, it really helped this sense of self-discovery. So, what do I enjoy doing? What am I good at? And what can I monetize? And that's how I fell into auctions, property auctions, because I'm really passionate about making where I come from, Leicester, a better place. Because when I go outside, I'm surrounded by dilapidated buildings and just run down things. And it's really nice to be a part of um the process where we can change that, make our community a better place.
Absolutely. I love that. And so obviously you went through this kind of, maybe we call it a bit like a tower moment or dark night of the
Yeah.
soul. What kind of parts of yourself did you have to sit with and confront or be like, okay, cool, I need to transform this to get me to where I want to be?
Yeah, that's really a good question. So I would say what if it fails? What if it doesn't work out? Or what if it just is just a big failure? But then I thought to myself, if I fail, the worst thing that I can happen is go back to a 9 to 5 job, and I'm already in the worst place ever anyway. So how can I fail if I'm already at the bottom anyway? I'm already working at something I hate doing. If I fail, worst case scenario, I'll just be back where I started. So there's only like up from here, and that would be like trying. So I think that's how I framed it because the worst place I was being told what to do and having no freedom and having no time. And I say the biggest flex in life is time.
Yeah. I actually love that so much because I feel like so many people are so scared of failing. And it's
Yeah.
like actually failure can teach us so much. Like you learn more through failure than anything else. So I love
Yeah.
that you reframe that. In fact, in sales, we had like this saying, because for those of people that don't know, I don't think I've ever revealed it on the podcast, but I used to do sales for like 2.5 years. And they had this motto that fail forward. And it's always
Yeah.
about looking how we can find the silver lining in that thing that goes wrong, right?
Yeah. Along with fail forwards, it's fail fast. So do it fast, get over it fast, just keep going forward.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. I love that. Okay. So I have another question. So basically, right now, I know life is still, you're still young, but
Yeah.
what's been the biggest kind of life lesson that you've learned so far? Maybe through that experience or just in general?
Ooh, biggest life lesson I've learned so far, I'd say is you only fail if you give up. So if failure is not possible, it only happens when you give up. So the most successful people I've ever met, they've just been consistent. They're not like superhumans or anything special. They like eat the same thing, they breathe the same air, they have the same amount of time in the day. So I think the biggest lesson I've learned is you only fail when you give up.
Mhm. I really like that. I think most entrepreneurs, it's like, it's that. That's it. If you give up, then that's when the real loss is because
Mhm.
you don't know when the next breakthrough is going to come, right? Like, could literally be round the corner, but you won't know. You have to just keep going.
Yeah, 100%.
So I kind of want to ask you now, like, what's it been like being back in Leicester and being a woman in business? How have you found that, navigating that in Leicester?
I think it's pretty nice, and I think it gives me a bit of a competitive advantage and a niche. So if I was to do what I'm doing in, let's say, the big cities, like let's say London or let's say Dubai, I would kind of be diluted with loads of other people. I know I'm still me,
Yeah.
but I would be in competition with loads of other people competing for the same business. Whereas in Leicester, I don't really think anybody has a niche that is young Asian female doing properties in Leicester. So I quite like it because it makes me stand out. It's my niche. And at the end of the day, it's where I kind of come from. And it's always nice to, like, when I die, I want to be like, I left where I came from in a better place. And
Mhm.
that's just enough. That's more than enough for me.
I really like that because you're like giving back to your community, really. And I think I don't know if you know this, but you came up on my feed so many times, like before we
Oh,
even met, and I was like,
yeah,
this. I want to know who this is.
really?
And I
Oh,
was like, this is so cool to see a South Asian woman, a business owner. Like, I just love the energy that you're putting out. Obviously, I know you kind of through Alima as well. I saw that you were friends with Alima, and I was like, I love that now there's so many business women in Leicester that are like, they've got a presence. I feel
mm,
like yeah, like I don't know about you, but before we met actually, what was so weird is that I was trying to do a bit of manifesting work and I was like, "What is it
oh,
that I think I'm missing?" And I was like, with my previous job, I loved it, but it was very much like um it felt great because we had a network of people that were supporting you and it was a real sense of community, but it was kind of like all in or nothing. Like it very much sometimes felt a bit like a cult. I don't know if I
yeah.
should say that. But I missed it. I missed that sense of belonging and having
Mm,
a support system. And I was just literally trying to manifest. I was like, I want to manifest a group of women
yeah.
who we can support each other, that are in business, that we can learn from each other. So it was just amazing that, yeah, that we met. We happened to meet at obviously the Veda event. And from there, obviously, we've been connected more on so many different things.
Yeah, can I just tell all of the viewers? So I fangirled Talisha when I saw her go on stage and she said her poem. I'm like, oh my God, like this girl is just spitting facts. Like her poetry is so good. She's so talented. So she came off the stage and then I was looking for her and I couldn't find her because she was like obviously went back to her stall with the merch on it. And I was like, oh my God, I lost her. What was her name? Right, I was just panicking. And then at the end, there was like a raffle happening. And then everyone went back to their tables. And I was like, oh my God, Talisha, you were so amazing. Let's be friends. I told her straight, like, you can't be my friend now, girl.
I love that.
And
But
then since then, yeah,
you
and then
know what
since then,
though? It was, sorry, go ahead, go
yeah, I
ahead.
was gonna say since then, even on our coffee date, I was telling you the same thing. Like I've been manifesting someone that understands spirituality, tarot, is like open-minded, like just gets the same things and interested in the same things, healing or self-development journey, just being a better person. And it's like not all of my friends are quite like that. I love them, but just because I've grown up with them doesn't mean that we still think the same. And I was just manifesting people like you, and I told you that last time we had that
Yeah.
coffee date, didn't
I love that though. You know, I've never really spoken about like the poetry journey on like my spiritual page much. So for those that are wondering what are we on about, I
we?
wrote some poetry. I have two poetry books. The first one was about fragments. It's called Fragments, and it's about my journey from grief to healing. And the second book, which I read from that Aarti heard about, was called Brown Girl Problems and Other Poems. And I really wanted to talk about some of the taboo things within our culture. And maybe we can touch on this a little bit, but like the reason that led kind of what led me to spirituality is that I was having some inner turmoil, conflict about some of the beliefs that are maybe more cultural beliefs rather than religious beliefs within like Hindu culture, especially around women and kind of being seen as dirty and when we're menstruating. And it was just something that I really couldn't make
Mhm,
peace with because I was like, oh, we have all these female goddesses who are powerful and we celebrate Shakti energy. And but then
mhm,
on the other side, we have like this notion around menstruation being dirty. And I found, I don't know about you, Artie, maybe this has happened to you as well, but I found a lot of the time it was the women that were gatekeeping or policing around these things. Like,
mm.
do you feel the same?
Also, yes, yes, more so than the men. Like, who the hell said you can't go to the temple if you're on your period? Like, what in the hell? Like, who the hell made that up? Like, what the hell? And then who says you can't go to certain things or religious events when you're on your period? Like, who made this stuff up?
Hmm. So
Hmm?
yeah, I was doing some research because I was like, what is this? And obviously, I think before in the past, it was obviously to
Yeah.
do with like hygiene reasons and also like to give women rest because back in the day, I mean, even in India, they work like some people they work 7 days a week. There's not really the concept of
I
weekends.
work 7 days a week. I'm not in India,
There
guys. Just putting it out there,
you go.
period.
Entrepreneur life. It's just what it is. But like it was to give women a break. But that's
Yeah.
where I think like progression needs to happen a little bit and like questioning and maybe challenging
Hmm.
what's
Hmm.
right for us. I don't know how what your relationship with faith is like. Is like what?
Yeah, yeah. So I've grown up quite religious. So my dad's very religious. My
Mhm.
mom not so much, but growing up and seeing my dad like meditate like 2 hours every morning, like without fail, it's just been really inspiring for me to see and grow up with. And I believe in all my gods. I have them in my cars, at my computers, like all the murtis, everything. Like, I'm trying to learn about more about it all the time. But I'd say, yeah, growing up around that environment and I enjoy that element and everything about it as well.
Yeah, I think we have so much like beautiful beliefs and like there's so much
Yeah.
beauty to the religion actually and like I was trying to explain to someone that it's actually just a way of life and
Mhm.
a lot of if you look at Hinduism it's all based on science like
Yeah.
science of the body like Ayurveda yoga like it's all to do with to science it's like
Yeah.
crazy and I love how nowadays are so many people are celebrating our culture so much more. I don't know what your experience was like growing up.
100%. Like the yoga teacher at the end of every session, namaste. I was like, where the hell did you learn namaste from? But I love it. I love it. I like the fact that it's become cool. Am I okay? Like,
Yeah.
can I say that? It's like Hinduism, spirituality, all of these things are like become cool. And I'm like, okay, I'm here for it. I've been cool since day one, guys. Like, what?
I love that. No, but I think it's good because like definitely
Mm,
seen a shift in people reclaiming their heritage and their culture where I think
mhm.
I went to kind of like a predominantly like white school. So for me,
Yeah.
like it was not I didn't really embrace it as much, if that makes sense. And I think as I got older, it was like I felt like I was code switching between
Mhm.
home and then the Talisha, like different forms of Talisha.
Okay. Yeah.
Because obviously at home, I was living with my granddad and I was like cooking Indian food and like very much the culture was there. But then the code switching of when I was in school, it was not so much there. I listened to very much like white music and like,
Oh,
like I don't know.
yeah.
So I think really that transition happened for me like in after my granddad died, like I started to reclaim it more and really interweave it into every part of my life rather than just separating that culture side from, yeah, the side that I show people, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
So for me, it was like the white people were the minority, and
Mm,
it was mostly Indian. So in school, in secondary school, at university, I was always in a place where the Indians were the majority and the white people were the minority. So
okay.
I am actually conditioned in my head to think that like when I see a white person, it's a bit weird, even though we're in England. Just because that's how I've grown up. That's the area that I'm in. That's where I went to school and everything. So it's a bit different for me. And also growing up, every Sunday I went to Sunday school. So that's like SST, like Sai Baba school. And that's where we learned like all types of religion. So we did like the Lord's Prayer every Sunday. We did like the Hindu prayers and just learn about all different types of religion. So I think since growing up, it's had like a very strong, solid, like
Faith has been a big pillar.
faith is being a really
Yeah,
big thing. Yeah, yeah.
I love that. I think, I don't know, like maybe for me it's been a bit more of a windy journey. We did have actually, I went to a primary school that had faith assembly. So I went to Hindu assembly and that's how I learned most of the prayers actually was
Yeah.
through that, which I think is amazing because I some of my family didn't have that opportunity and they don't know much. They don't know much of the culture. I don't think it's passed on as much, the
Mm,
things. Um, so I'm really grateful for that. But I feel like, yeah, spirituality is for me, it's like taking bits and pieces from
yeah.
multiple different places. And I mean, you when did you start doing card readings? Like, was it this year or was it like,
I think it was last year. Yeah, early last year.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me it was like 2018, and that's originally what the Instagram page started as like me
I
sharing those
know.
readings on there.
You
But
should repost them. They're really good. Like those posts must have taken you ages to create per post. So you really, I mean, repost them,
do
reshare it.
you know what? I feel like I'm taking more of a like a step away from it in a way.
Yeah, we spoke about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know you're kind of like new and
Mm,
you're really getting into it a lot more, and I think that's amazing. I think divination is an incredible tool for self-reflection. But for me, it's like what the difference was is I was using it more as a as maybe a coping mechanism to try
hmm
as
hmm
an anxious person, try and find out
Yeah.
what was going to happen, like a form of control. And I think that is kind of why I had to step away from it. It's because I was listening to Joe Dispenza. I don't know if you're a big
Yeah, I remember you telling me this. Yeah, tell
yeah.
everyone. It was really good.
So Joe Dispenza talks about how a truly abundant person doesn't need to know, right? When you're trying to find the answer, you're in a place of scarcity because you're acting as though you're not sure if it's going to happen.
Hmm
If you're in a state of abundance, you're so trusting. You trust in God's plan. You trust that you have the capability and the skill set to be able to deal with whatever life throws at you. But that's where separation is when you're in that energy of needing to know and
hmm
chasing the outcome. That's lack, right? That's scarcity. So,
Yeah.
and I'm really trying to work on my abundance mindset. Because I am naturally an anxious person. So for me, I need to really like do the mindset work of being like, cool, okay, like where's this coming from? How do I get into a vibration of calm? So that's kind of where we're at. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still do it every now and again. Like I have a card deck right here by my feet, and
Yeah.
I do it with my clients. But for me, it's like I know the temptation is there to be like, okay, I need to shuffle again and again, like just
Yeah,
stop.
yeah. And do you know what? It's really interesting you said that because when I go on TikTok Live, you would get a couple of users that keep asking the same question again
Yeah,
and again and again and again. And the card that would always come up for them would be meditation brings answers. And what that card there means in the Oracle deck is why are you seeking an answer so much? Why don't you go within yourself and see why do you need to know? Why can't you be happy with whatever outcome it is, whether it be what you're hoping for or what you're not hoping for? Learn to live with whatever's gonna happen and be happy with it. Because you know what it is? Only expectation brings disappointments. If you don't have any expectations, how can you be disappointed? So I've noticed that the really anxious people that keep putting the same question, either about the same person or a circumstance, it's always meditation brings answers. And
yeah,
that's the card that always comes up for them.
that's true. Because you need to do the inner work and
Mm.
reflect, and really and truly, divination is just a tool. Like, you know what
Yeah,
I mean? It's like
yeah,
it it's a really an opportunity for us to reflect and go inwards. So I do like using it as like a tool for that as well. Can't lie.
yeah.
But no, so we talked little bit about Joe Dispenza, but do you have anyone that you kind of really listen to or that you think is kind of almost like a teacher for you?
Ooh, that's a really good question. Um, I'm gonna say, who was I last? I can say, generally speaking, Jay Shetty. I really like his podcast. I know he's a bit commercialized and whatever, whatever, but I really like him. There's someone else called Myron Golden.
Okay.
Myron
Don't know who
Golden.
that is.
He is really cool. Kim Peretz.
I've not heard of
Kim Peretz. She's
it.
called Claim Your Power. Claim Your Power podcast.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I've got
Um,
loads of podcasts downloaded, by the way, and I'll just put them on
yeah.
like when I'm walking.
And also Hal Elrod. Have you heard of Hal
Yeah,
Elrod?
yes.
Miracle Morning,
Yeah.
because I love my Miracle Morning. So Miracle Morning, Hal Elrod. Uh, also Mel Robbins. I'm a fan
Yeah,
of
I do
Mel
love a bit
Robbins.
of Mel Robbins.
I
Yeah.
really like Mel Robbins. Dr. Ranjan Chatterjee.
Yeah.
Dr. Ranjan, yeah, I like Dr. Ranjan. And who Jim Rohn. I really love
Yeah.
Jim Rohn. I'm a big fan of like all of his philosophies and so on. Simon Squibb.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
really like Simon Squibb as well. And then Ramdas.
Yeah, Ram Dass. Yeah.
Yeah, I like Ramdas. Someone called Tamko.
Yeah, I know who Tom Core is. Yeah.
Tamko, I
I love
really love
watching.
her journals and the
Hmm.
way that she presents herself and does her YouTube videos and everything. I think she's great. Um, Sadhguru.
Yeah, Sadhguru. Yeah. That's a
Um,
good mix. I feel like if you have like one particular book, I think I know the answer, but do you
yeah.
have like one particular book that's like kind of changed your life?
Um, I wouldn't say one particular one. I would say it's like a combination of so many different
Okay.
ones that have taught me like different elements to everything.
Yeah. I
I
thought
say
you were
it's
going to say
more
Miracle Morning. That's what I thought you were going to say.
that I'd say it's more the rituals in that than the book itself. The book itself
Okay.
is a bit boring, but I like the fact that he's put it into an acronym. It's really usable
Yeah.
and how
Same.
accessible it is and things like that. I like that part of it. The book itself is like meh, but I like the Millionaire's Miracle Morning more, a little bit more.
Okay.
Same thing, same author. Um, can I say call her daddy, Alex Cooper?
Yeah, yeah. That's funny. But speaking of actually, I feel like we should touch on morning routines because
Yeah.
obviously Jay Shetty has his acronym as well. Like, don't know if you know, his is called TIME.
No, what's that stand for?
So it's thankfulness, insight, meditation, and exercise. And I know how Erod, he has savers, right?
Yeah.
So what does your morning routine look like?
Okay, so I'm part of this group called Be Well, and that's where we all log in at 6:30 a.m. There's about 100 of us ladies and some guys online.
Mhm.
And in that 30 minutes, we try and do the whole savers. So the S stands for silence, so meditation. A stands for affirmation. So I have my list. Everyone has their own list of own affirmations. So that relates to their business, where they want to be, their own goals relating to that. V stands for visualization. So just for instead of like on a bigger level, you should do the visualization for your whole life, but on the daily level, do the visualization of what three things do you envision yourself accomplishing in that day that will make you get closer to where you're trying to go.
Mhm.
E is really funny exercise. So the coach for that day plays like a 5 minute song of it all dancing around. But
I love
you
that.
should like do like 30 minutes minimum exercise. So then I'll go to the gym after. R is for reading. So pick up a book and read as well. So and then S is for scribing. So that's like journaling, writing your gratitudes, writing your manifestations and planning as well. So we try and do that in the 30 minutes, which sets me up really nicely for the day. Because ideally, like if you were supposed to do savers properly, it would take you like 5 hours because you spend like 1 hour each on each element of it.
Yeah.
But we get it done in 30 minutes every day, and then I read for a little bit longer after, or and then I exercise for a bit longer after, and then I do more serious journaling on the weekends. But just for like a short term everyday thing, do like 30 minute savers every morning with the group.
That's incredible. How do you think that that's like kind of shaped you or changed your life, like in and your
Yeah. So I would say before Miracle Morning and before Savers, I would just go into the day anxious or trying to make other people happy, like e external fulfillment instead of internal gratitude and fulfillment. So, say for example, when I was working in London, I didn't even know what Miracle Morning was. I'd wake up, I'd get ready, I'd get on the busy tube. There's nothing I've done for myself in that whole process. Everything that I've done from putting makeup on to look better for people, to dressing to look better for other people, not even meditating, not doing anything for myself, and then just rushing off to work. And then you get stuck in your first meeting, second meeting, day drags on, and you're like mentally and physically drained.
Mhm.
Whereas when you start like this, you go into the day with mindfulness, with emotional regulation. And
Yeah.
that's a very rare thing to have it's a very good thing to have emotional regulation. So you control your emotions. You just start your day right. Like I couldn't fault it in any way, like at all. And I really think everyone should have some sort of morning routine, savers or time. What about you? What's your mo morning
Yeah,
routine?
mine is pretty similar, to be honest. I think it's actually so important because, like you said, it's like filling up your cup before you give to
Yeah.
other people. So, yeah, usually it's like writing an affirmation, well, obviously meditation, writing an affirmation. I have a self-concept that I like to listen to. Go for my walk, and I listen to like a podcast on my walk. Um,
Yeah.
I really feel like without my walk, I'm just not good to anyone because it's my way of grounding and giving time to myself. And moving
Yeah.
the body first thing is just an incredible thing to do. And
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, like my journaling more happens in at night where I do the reflection. But basically the same sort of principles. It's just slightly different in a different order. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, gratitude as well, like three things that I'm grateful for. So I have a journal that I use to do the affirmation and the gratitude in. And I like to write out the tasks for the day so that I can tick them off because I find that so gratifying. It's so good.
Yeah.
But no, I have like one last question for you and then I will
Yeah.
let you go. So we've talked quite a lot about many different things, but I just want to ask you like what currently brings you joy? Some
Oh, that's
joy.
a really good question. What currently brings me joy?
Mhm.
Mm, there's not a particular thing. Everything. I find joy in the smallest things these days compared to like the big grandiose things like a brand new Mercedes or something like that. Those things used to bring me joy, but now like a hot cup of coffee in the morning after my miracle morning brings me joy. So at the moment, I think the smallest things I'm finding gratitude in really, really little things bring me joy compared to the old me where it had to be like a big fancy car or loads of money or a
I
bonus or designer handbags or really materialistic things. Now I find joy in just being grateful, mindful, peaceful, and seeing my family and friends happy.
I love that. And lastly, where can people find you and
Oh,
connect?
okay. So for my auction stuff, you can find me at Aarti Auctions. And for my spiritual side of stuff, my TikTok is called Aarti Patel 3. And on Instagram, I'm Aarti Patel as well. But I'll send you all the links so you can put it on as well.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much for your time and for sharing all of your life with us for this podcast. Like I love hearing about your journey into spirituality and becoming a businesswoman. So thank you so much, Artie.